I figure you'll be able to locate them. Yeah.
Mr. Ho.
I believe we have a pump issue. You can proceed.
Okay, I'm assuming it's not with.
No, I don't think Frank is. But I expect there is.
All right, two things. First is apparently the group that has stayed in the front of the courthouse for the last 5.5 weeks or how long we've been going has started marching around the courthouse. And apparently they just did one circuit of the courthouse and that's continuing. Because of that, I've asked the bailiffs to go ahead and move the jury from an exterior deliberation room to an interior deliberation room. So we're going to go ahead and do that just so that there's no issues with the panel and whatever may be going on outside. So that's one. Two is I did address the panel, indicated to them that the state believed it had about 2 hours of argument, that the court would still need to charge the jury before we got into deliberations, and in all probability that charge would occur tomorrow. I left the room, asked that they go ahead and notify the court where they were, and the note that I got back is we would like to leave. So based on that, I'm going to go ahead and break for the day. I'm going to start a little bit earlier tomorrow so we gain a little bit of time. So I'm planning to start at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Start at 8:30 tomorrow morning and continue with closing arguments at that time. Anything from the state?
Nothing from the state, except I was informed that this coffin situation that Mr. Goff was talking about did not have the defendants' names on them. They actually had the names of Mr. Arbery and I think George Floyd on them. So for the purposes of the record, and I didn't see this personally, I was informed by my people that it was misrepresented of what names were on these coffins that were being shown outside as if it was somehow the defendant's names, and that's not the case, is what I've been informed, just for the record.
And I did ask the sheriff if that was the case. I haven't seen them, and so I'm only relying on what I'm being told, so I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on the record, but that's consistent with what I was told. Again, I didn't see them. There's nothing before the court. I'm just basing this on representations made by counsel and what I've been told by the sheriff's department.
In addition, I only have one other issue that I think needs to be taken up at sidebar, if we could approach about that complaint.
Is it substantive, logistics? Because with the defendants, is it something I need the defendants present for? Why don't you talk to counsel before we do it?
Yes, I can talk to Mr. Goff about that.
Okay.
Oh.
And counsel about that.
Okay. Why don't we, when we break then, let's hold the defendants and let counsel discuss whatever needs to be discussed.
Thank you, Judge.
See what
And
happens.
one last thing, when their jurors are leaving today, if there is this commotion, I expect you've got this all covered, but
It's been discussed with the sheriff's department, and there's a plan in place so that, to my satisfaction, I don't believe there will be any issues.
okay, and so that you and I are using the same idea when we talk about issues, surely that I understand that their safety would be protected. Will they actually be aware, however, of what's been going on as they leave?
Let's go ahead and talk about this
In chambers?
in chambers.
All right, very good, thank you, Your Honor.
On that note, Your Honor, the issue that we have is making sure that the record is clear that they have heard or haven't. That's number one. Number two, that they don't feel like or made to feel like they're in danger by ushering them into internal rooms, which I understand is necessary, but I worry that the act of doing so creates an issue. Maybe that's not beyond.
A little bit more than, so when I walked in, I could hear some noise outside. It's muffled, you can't really hear it. But I was listening for it because it was the first time I've been in that room during really the proceedings.
Okay.
I heard something and did in fact say, oh, have y'all been hearing this? And the response was, oh, we just heard that. That's it. So, no. And it's muffled, you can't actually hear what it is. You just hear there's a commotion. What I heard was just, it apparently right as I went into the room, a group went around the side of the building. So it was on my radar, and just for the record, heard it. And no, it is not, I understand the concern, and I'm understanding where we are with the case. Thought I'd put it on the record simply to say, here's what we're doing. But no, they're not being moved because there's a commotion outside. They're being moved because I thought, based simply upon that and me hearing that, it was in the best interest of the court to go ahead and put them into one of the courtroom's interior.
Thank you. Also, if the court could put in place something to prevent during deliberation people walking around the courthouse, it's not a necessary feature of the First Amendment that they walk on all four sides of the courthouse to make their First Amendment speech heard and known. If we could keep them on the front, if the court could do that with the Sheriff's Department, we would ask that you do that. We just think this is a tipping point issue for the jury if there's any chance of them hearing that or seeing that.
I'll think that through. Candidly, I have some concerns about doing that, only that any action of the court or the Sheriff's Department generally is met with some type of reaction. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to create problems where there aren't any. It's just a matter of this afternoon, there was a group that walked around the courthouse and I could hear it. That's one thing. If it is something different or becomes much more significant, then I need to figure out how to address that and make sure that there isn't an issue with the jury. I'll go ahead and do that. Understand the concern, though. I think I've worked through the McMichaels and Mr. Bryan.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'm going to bring the panel in. I'll dismiss them for the day, and then I'll step down if council could discuss whatever you need to discuss, and then let me know if there is something we need to do on the record before the defendants. If not, it sounds like I probably need to meet with you all in the back anyway based on the questions that were asked by Ms. Hogue. Okay. All right, let's get the panel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and break for the day. So we're going to start a little bit earlier tomorrow. We're going to start at 8:30. So we're going to get into the state's closing at 8:30. During the recess, again, do not discuss this case amongst yourselves or with anybody else. Don't go looking for any information about the case. If anybody approaches you about the case, please let the court know and we'll go ahead and get that addressed. Don't go looking for any information in the news. Don't look at social media. And again, if you're in the presence of anybody that wants to talk about the case, you need to walk away and you need to let the court know if that has occurred. So, again, I want to thank you for your service. You've heard me say it over and over again, and you're probably getting tired of it, but it is greatly appreciated by the Superior Court of Glynn County. Have a good evening, and we'll see you back here at 8:30 in the morning.
All right for the jury.
Anything further from the state before we recess?
No, just I'll talk to the defense attorney.
From Travis and Michael.
I think we're going to need to inquire of them in the morning. I think it's imperative. I sense that, my feeling is that this is a moment in this case. I'm concerned about our jurors. I know they're tired. I'm seeing some frustration. I'm seeing some head shaking, and I'm worried. And I'm going to ask the court to inquire of them in the morning on the record with us present.
We'll go ahead and address that in the morning. Again, the court's indicated where we are with the case. From Greg McMichael.
Nothing.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Oh, something.
sorry.
We still have to turn this into evidence. The juror 219, the videos that were discussed in the last week of jury selection.
Let's do it through notice of filing, because it needs to be sealed.
I'm happy to do it however you guys do.
Just speak louder, please.
Yes, I'm happy to do it however the court tells me to do it, so.
Let's do, I need to do a sealing order for it, we just need to do a sealing order for it. Those are are they the TikTok videos associated with the juror? Got it. Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to do, I've got a couple sealing orders I need to do. It'd be helpful, if you want to do a sealing order with it and submit it with a sealing order, I'll do that.
I will look for a template, thank you.
Okay, if not, I can put one together. All right, we are in recess, thank you.
Because literally, after those men in that courtroom assassinated their child, now they're sitting here assassinating his character. I mean, if you didn't know any better, you would think that Ahmaud Arbery was the one being charged. He was the person who was killed running for his life. And they're saying that he is the person that is on trial here. Let it be clear. The people on trial are the McMichaels, the father and son, and Rowdy Bryant. But this isn't anything new to us. We know about 10 years ago, with Trayvon Martin, they assassinated his character after they assassinated him. It's the playbook. And so you all know what you saw in that video. It speaks for itself. You can see the truth with your own eyes. We pray that the jury sees the video without bias and that they will come to a just verdict for Miss Wanda's sake and for Marcus's sake. That's all they ask.
I want to say one more thing before we go. There has been a community here designed to provide support for justice, but particularly as the defense attorneys have seemed to focus their attention on the gallery and on Miss Cooper Jones and Mr. Arbery, there's been a community of supporters here praying, supporting, offering words of encouragement, water. We appreciate those people. As we come near the end of the trial, those demonstrations have become somewhat more bombastic, with props and marches and other things. We just ask the community of supporters, as we near the end of the trial, to try to do whatever you can to avoid interfering with the actual trial taking place inside of the courtroom. We appreciate the support. The community's presence here has been a great encouragement to the family, but we cannot allow anything to disrupt justice in this case. We'll take a question or two and then we're going to
Is there anything in particular today that really impacted you hearing from the defense? What will you share?
When I heard prosecutor the host, she described Ahmaud as his long legs and his dirty, long toenails. That was just beyond rude. Regardless of what kind of toenails he had, what size legs he had, that was still my son. And my son actually was running for his life in that description. I thought that was just flat out just rude.
Here, the way, it's just rough. The way they just try to characterize him like he was a victim. Talking about how he didn't grow up in no poor family. He didn't grow up with nothing. So the way they try to characterize his name and try to make him look like that victim, it's just really hurting to his mom and me, because we already know how he growed up. He growed up with everything he needed, so she can go on with that. We already know what she's doing. They got no defense ground, so she's trying anything. They desperate. So we already know that. So all we want is justice. Justice for Ahmaud. And we're gonna try to keep this thing non-violent, because that's what they want. We can't get on their level. We want justice. We want to get justice the honest way. All right. God bless.
You know, just briefly, Attorney Merritt and Attorney Robinson and us, it was just very fascinating when you heard them try to justify the unjustifiable act. You would think Ahmaud was the only one who went and visited that home. They had dozens of other people who visited that home. Nobody chased them. Nobody said that they burglarized the home. Why is that? Because Ahmaud was black? Is that the justification that they say he burglarized the home? He went and observed just like all the other people. But yet, they said it was a crime that Ahmaud committed, and that this was justified to kill him. And that's the suggestion. That's the reasoning. And if that is to be accepted, then everybody who went in that home should be charged with burglary. Come on. If you take their reasoning. And worse, we should be dealing with multiple homicides. But that's not acceptable, because we're better than this, America. We're better than this, America. We're better than what we saw, how they killed Wanda and Marcus's baby boy. We're better than this, America. Coming from Kenosha, Wisconsin, we need to see that we're better than this, America. Thank you. Thank you.
that once or twice.
Can you send me that?
Oh, yeah,
No
sure.
rush.